a lot of shows and a lot of networks don't want to talk about.
I love Freeform so much for being like, hey, push it, do it, like talk about it. And they started with Secret Life. I mean, sex was a huge topic, obviously, on the show, and that was a big, big, big push for them.
LGBT and the B is kind of overlooked sometimes, or people say that bisexuality is just like a phase or whatever it may be, but your show and your character in particular brought that up. How does it feel to play a character that talks about those things?
I feel so honored and so excited to represent the bi community, which is so underrepresented to begin with, and so there's so many misconceptions about it, and I think the show is doing an amazing job about kind of talking about the stereotypes, and it's good. Next week we get into it more.
What other topics are we going to explore this season?
Oh my gosh, kind of everything. Politics, we definitely get into politics, which is one of my favorite episodes, which you'll be seeing. Sexuality, of course. I think identity in general, drugs, drinking, love, sex, the whole thing.
Why do you think the show is being received so well? Obviously, it's produced well, the writing's great, but it already had like the fan base from Blackish, but I feel like you don't even have to have seen Blackish to enjoy this show.
It relates with the millennials and what's going on, today. When I was in college, I went to the College of Central Florida, and everything I would see in college is what's going on in Grownish, the popping pills and, people being open about their sexual preferences and things like that. That's what goes on. So I just think everybody can relate to it, and it preaches a positive message to you, but it doesn't come across in such a preachy way. It's through entertainment, and I think we could be able to receive that better. When someone is teaching you something through laughter and fun instead of like a preacher so harsh.
Why do you think so many people, young and old, because I've gone through college already, but I watched this show and I have like those memories, and I'm like, wait a minute, and it's so relatable regardless of your age. Why do you think that's the case?
Well, because when you're going from high school to college, whoever's made that transition, it's 100% relatable. You're trying to figure out who you are, you're trying all the new things, and whether it was a specific instance that we do on the show, there's something that you did that was like, oh, I did that, and that was just a mistake. Or it was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so Grownish, congrats, incredible show.
Thank you, man.
I feel like a lot of people were a little nervous because whenever you have a spinoff, is it going to live up to expectation of the previous show? But I think the great thing about Grownish is you don't have to have seen Blackish to appreciate the show.
Definitely not. You have to be a human being and have grown up or are growing up or will grow up. And that's why I feel like it's such a success, because it's so relatable.
Were you nervous at all because this show is a spinoff of such a critically acclaimed show, Blackish? Or were you more so excited because you're like, damn, I get to go be on this show?
I was more so excited I get to be on this show. One, to work with Yara, two, to work with Kenya Barris, and like just everyone. Like once I saw the cast, I'm like, this is going to be insane. Like I'm so honored to be working with the talented people that I'm working with. And I was nervous too because, I'm not Cuban and I'm playing this Cuban American, so I was a little nervous about that. And I spoke to some of my Latina sisters about it, and they're like, girl, we support you. I got you. And it's been such an amazing, like, eye-opening experience for me. Yeah, this is our future. Yara could be our next president.
Listen.
Like, she already got my vote.
Do you think that this show gives an accurate depiction of the college experience?
I don't know. I didn't go to college, so I'm learning as I go.
I love that.
Yeah, but my sister went to UCLA, and she says, yep, that's
okay, so I'll change the question then. Since you didn't go to college, do you feel like you're actually getting that experience now?
Yeah, just from what I'm learning about. And it's also just so different because from when I'm older, I'm a lot older than everyone else. So from when my friends went to college, or even saying like, yeah, that's very, very accurate, but there's a lot of things that wasn't spoken about, like the politics and like addiction. And right now, I think last night's episode was about the double standard with bisexuality,
which I love, by the way.
Yeah, and it's something that I never even thought about. So it really opens your eyes to a lot of things. So not only getting the college experience, but I am woke.
Do you think that this show is an accurate depiction of the college experience?
I think so. I mean, I'm actually in college right now.
Okay.
I don't live on campus, so I don't have like that dorm room thing, but I do think, all my friends who I'm watching it with who did have the dorm experience are like, oh my God, I'm getting such flashbacks.
Absolutely. It's the ones where people who are just studying that they try and just block out, and the ones that we try not to pay attention to, but it is 100% all there. So we know the stories that we watch out for, but we want to know what else is happening.
Everybody cannot rock a rat tail, and you rock it well. Did you introduce that to the show, or they say you're gonna rock that?
No, they wanted me to cut it, and I said no, and then they made fun of me.
Wait, what?
They're like, can you cut it? I said no. He's like, all right. And
But
then
I love
look
that
at the
though.
script next week and they're like, oh, the guy from Clevver Rat Tail.
I honestly love that because growing up, you would see that way back in the day, and you haven't really seen it recently. So
When I was very
you're
young,
influencing change in our culture right now.
When I was very young, I was like 5 or 6, and I had it, and my mom cut it. She still has it in like a Ziploc bag somewhere. And I was like, man, I fell in love with Star Wars again, episode 1, 2, and 3, and I was like, I love Anakin. He has it too. I gotta do it.
So Yara's character, if you in real life ever had somebody like send text like that, like essay form, when she was having her breakdown, what would your reaction be?
I mean, now that I'm older, I understand, but when I got it, I was like, this crazy son of a, what's wrong with you, girl? Get it together. No, I'm playing. But now that I'm older and have experienced life, then obviously know, you know, I've lived a bit.
Yeah.
And I understand where it's coming from. It's all good intentions.
Yeah.
It's just not knowing how to handle emotions. That's what the show's about, is developing those skills, developing to even know yourself better, know what you want, know what you don't want. And I feel like we're doing a great depiction of that.
What are the do's and don'ts based on what you filmed on Grownish of the college experience?
You know, when you go to a party, don't be the cup. You know, don't hand out a bunch of cups. Don't be a scrub.
Yeah.
Because when you're a scrub, everybody's gonna know you for that, and
Right.
you want to look cooler than what you are. You know, you act the part, and eventually people's gonna start treating you like it.
Right. Can you give us any teasers or spoilers of what's to come for the season?
A lot of people are going to have a lot of conflicts with each other in the group, but we're all just going to work through it together.
Are we going to see a lot more of you in this coming season?
Yes, you definitely will. As me and Yara's relationship, you know, continue to grow, and she continues to help me out with certain things, you're definitely going to see a lot more.
And there's definitely some tension between your character and Trevor's character already.
Yes. You know, Aaron and I, you know, we don't get along too well because, well, actually, I have no problem with him because I don't even know what's going on with him. You know, Cash is just like, she's cute, and I want to talk to Zara.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't. Cash doesn't see Aaron as a potential threat at all, actually. So yeah.
Just more and more craziness, man. More and more development. More and more confusion. And I feel like it's like finding the peace within all the confusion. But each episode is going to bring a new problem, and we'll see how us young Breakfast Club guys handle it.
I love it. But before you go, click left to see the Foster's cast talk spoilers and spin-off details, and click right for shows we can't wait for this year.